Welcome to a Wicked Turtle Network exclusive.
Welcome to the Duke's Dive. This is the basically the Dive Goes Hollywood edition, and on this one, last week covered. I covered basically everything else within Wrestlemania week, and I wanted to give special attention to Stand and Deliver in Wrestlemania week because this is their thing. So we wouldn't be here without these events, so I wanted to give special attention, and I brought it on board the coach to talk about these events with me.
Hey, how's everyone doing? I mean, I guess I can't answer that back, but hey, I'm doing good.
Well, I can comment.
That's true.
So, with 3 great events, I really think that,
Yeah, it was a good weekend, you know. I mean, great WrestleMania.
I was really hyped to see Stephen A. Smith on the pre-show. That was pretty cool for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That was pretty
fun.
That
was a good one.
Him interacting with Booker T was funny.
Yeah.
So, we could jump right into Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, let's get started. Let's get
talk
into
about that first. And the first match on there was the I watch NXT, but not like on an every week basis. I try to keep up with.
Oh, shame.
I know, it's just so much. I don't watch on an every week basis, but I do keep up with what's going on usually. But this was the big the ladder match. Roxanne, they thought she was going to have to relinquish it, right? And then it set up this ladder match, but then she had become a part of the ladder match.
Yeah, it's storyline wise, Roxanne faced off with Mako.
All right.
And she ended up like after the match, like passing out, and it was kind of similar to. They did like something similar with Shawn Michaels in the 90s, and since he's the head writer of NXT, I'm guessing that's where he got the idea from.
That makes sense.
And in, I believe in real life, Roxanne had a personal issue, and they thought she would be gone longer than she was, so she came back, and they ended up putting her in the match.
Well, that's good. Yeah. They were able to put her back into the match like that. But yeah, she took on Tiffany Stratton, Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, Lyra Valkyra, right?
Yes. Lyra Valkyra, yep.
All right, yeah. And Indy Hartwell.
Yes.
Basically, early on, Valkyra bounced off of I forget who threw her off there, but I noted that, like, oh my god, that looked nasty the way she bounced off of that ladder.
Yeah, it's always fun. Not well, I felt like these kind of ladder matches with when you have like wrestlers, whether they're men or women, on the smaller size, because when they take like those falls onto the ladder and everything, they just look extra brutal because they bounce like and she's
right.
You know, she's probably like 5'4" or 5'5". She might be shorter than that. When she hit that ladder, I thought she died. Like,
it was like super quick, super like real impactful. Like, but with they always set the tone with these multi men or women ladder matches on NXT, and it was a really cool way to start it off, though.
Yeah, this was great. This was probably my favorite. combined, like if you count WrestleMania Night 1 and 2, my favorite women's match of the
Yeah,
weekend. I
absolutely.
really enjoyed this match a lot. This was good.
The Indy Hartwell spinebuster Tiffany Stratton off the ladder. That was pretty decent too. That was neat. And then we had JC Jane returning in the mid-match to attack Gigi to set up a story.
Yeah, continue that. They've been kind of going back and forth since
Mandy.
Yeah, Mandy.
That, Toxic Attraction is the name of it, right? Yeah.
Yes, and Mandy was, unfairly released, and then.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, I mean, it's not worth getting into, but like with Gigi and JC. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just wanting to say that the title reign that Mandy was on was awesome. That I was watching most of that, and it was cool to see her go up against, not only the usual suspects for NXT, but they were bringing in, past NXT women, and she was showing that, that not only should she keep up with the NXT people, but like even if she was on the main roster, it was just a pretty cool run. She was proving herself. So,
and it really set the tone for NXT 2.0 when it was still that, and it kind of carried a lot of that on the women's side.
But at least this gets to show off the other two from Toxic Attraction if they're gonna, they splintered off. So it was good to see.
Yeah,
those two.
Well, I guess we'll see where that ends up. I'm guessing that's probably going to be a bit of a long-term thing with those two, since they had their first match a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I would assume, that would be, at least going on into the next pay-per-view, would be them two. Would be a singles match, I would imagine. Excuse me. But yeah, that, we had the reuniting of Index with Dexter Lumis coming to basically help Indy secure the title on that one.
I thought that was a pretty cool way to do a finish for this, and it also it allowed Indy to finally have her moment, because Indy's kind of like, I joke about it all the time with Mrs. Coach, because we watch NXT together, and it's like Indy has been there. Indy had started in the black and gold NXT, and then was there for 2.0, and now like the gold and white NXT. Indy has made it through 3 logos and 3 transitions of NXT.
She has been there.
She definitely deserves this. This title, and it was a good ending. I really enjoyed it. This was definitely, like I said, this was my favorite women's match for the weekend.
Yeah, it went back to, I know Dexter had come back to NXT, several weeks at this point in time, maybe several months.
I think so, yeah.
Like he had randomly popped up, like right around that time where, I want to say he was released and then come back, and then it was randomly on NXT. But
I believe he was released last May, and then came back in maybe October or November, sometime in the fall, and then he was like popped up in NXT, and that was like a one-off. And then it'll be interesting to see where they go now that Indy won. And I mean, it doesn't look like she's main roster bound, at least for now. Whereas Dexter and Gargano are probably still going to be on Raw, but maybe they'll come back to NXT and do some stuff. Like, we'll see. Be interesting to see where they go.
But yeah, if, I could see Dexter coming back on certain bigger events.
Yeah.
They keep her, keep the strap on her at least throughout summer. I could see like him coming back at the, what do they call the big? Will they have a pay-per-view right around the same time as SummerSlam?
Oh man, I know. They might not have one around SummerSlam this year. I believe they're doing one Memorial Day weekend now. The same day as All Out, actually. Yeah, they're doing.
Yeah. That was a big headline that I was seeing a couple of days ago, that they announced that was going to be on the same day.
Yeah, Battleground.
Oh, yep, Battleground. So I could see that. Yeah.
You know, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it would.
But yeah, no, this was good. I really enjoyed it. So that was
Yeah, a decent ladder match. The next one was the was a triple threat tag match, right?
yes.
I'm not missing a team. Okay.
No.
The Creed brothers defeated Gallus. I mean,
no. Gallus won.
Oh, Gallus. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, Gallus defeated the Creed brothers and Wolfgang and Mark Coffey.
Yeah, it was Gallus, the Creeds, and who was the third team? Oh, Tony D'Angelo and Stax.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes.
And Gallus won after Joe Coffey made his return and helped get the win for them.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Gallus in this one. I was honestly, this might have been my favorite tag team match of the weekend.
This was really good. I honestly thought that the Creeds were going to win it. I was kind of surprised they didn't, which makes me think that they are possibly main roster bound very soon, because they're kind of in this position where they're not really doing anything. They're just kind of there, and that's usually the sign of like somebody getting ready to be moved up, is when they're not really rolling in NXT. They're just kind of like,
yeah. Well, not to jump too far ahead, but with Braun, it doesn't seem like it's too long for him either, and with the whole Endeavor thing, having the Creed brothers and Braun go towards the main roster seems like a move they would make. They look like, three strong, real strong dudes.
I had heard that, and I don't know if it's true or not, because again, we can't believe everything on the internet, but I had heard that WWE at the moment, because of the sale, isn't signing anybody, so logic would say that to refresh the main roster, it would come from NXT call-ups rather than people brought in.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that a lot of people were expecting, like usual, either main roster call-ups at that point in time or people coming in, and that we didn't get too much of that. We got Shane, which,
We'll get to that.
Yeah, that's an asterisk. And then Matt Riddle coming back for... Again, not to jump too far ahead, but I mean, that's
people were expecting Jay White and Matt Cardona, and I think maybe people kind of, it's a case of expecting more.
Yeah, my expectations were at least Matt Cardona.
My expectations, I honestly didn't expect anybody to like come back. Like, I kind of figured Jay White would go to AEW, which was correct.
Yeah.
My expectations were, at the very least, Braun, Breaker, and possibly the Creeds and Cameron Grimes, because Cameron Grimes has kind of just faded away since leaving NXT. Right. But I mean, also though, granted, we know that, like, based off internet chatter, whether it's true or not, that Monday Night Raw was rewritten a lot. Maybe those call-ups happen next week. Maybe they happen Friday. So it's still, stuff could still happen.
Because they usually give a super special Raw after Mania, but let's not forget, that SmackDown's also important. The SmackDown after Mania. I know it might get too crowded that we're the small SmackDown after Mania, the Raw after Mania, or whatever. But I mean, that 1 week of programming after Mania is also as important, as the before, during, and after.
Now that SmackDown is the A show, I believe last year, and I could be wrong in this, but I believe last year the SmackDown after WrestleMania was like a bigger deal than the Raw after WrestleMania. Like, SmackDown tends to be the more important show now.
Yeah, that whole year was like a SmackDown.
Yeah. I feel like people forget that SmackDown's the A show and the important show, and then they get upset when things don't happen on Raw. But like, Raw's kind of the B show now, so.
Right. Well,
I mean,
the way it does go anyway.
I mean, Roman appears on Raw like, once every like 8 months. So that should tell you right there all you need to know about Monday Night Raw at this point when it comes to like how it matters.
Right, because and back in the day, absolutely, it used to be that way in reverse.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's not so much. But it has been. Raw has gotten a lot better.
It has, and I mean, even with yeah, not to get off task, but even with like the possible changes that could come from shifting, like Vince McMahon coming back or whatever, I'm not super worried because I feel like there was enough good on Raw, and with possibly like Triple H still like kind of handling the mid-card stuff and the lower card stuff, and Vince just kind of meddling with the main event stuff, I still think like overall Raw will be fine. Like I think there was a lot of like pearl clutching and freaking out this week due to Monday Night Raw, and I think like I think it's going to be okay. I think people just need to take a breath and just relax. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think the whole Cody situation's got nerves frazzled, and we'll definitely get to that more.
Yeah, I guess we could get back.
Yeah, absolutely. This was the next one up was the multi-man match for the. Now they didn't change the name of this, right? The North American title.
Yeah, it's still the North American Championship. It didn't get renamed due to Shazam like that belt in AEW did. So.
Oh my God! Yeah, Jesus.
The Shazam Championship, Shazampianship? I don't know. But anyways,
I like that.
But, Championship.
The Championship. Yeah, Wes Lee. We had Wes Lee defeating Ilya Dragunov, JD McDonough, Dragon Lee, and Axiom. I like this one out of. This is probably going to be my match of WrestleMania week.
This was fantastic. This was the probably the best like talent like in NXT in one match. This was if this would have had Carmelo Hayes in it, it pretty much would be like all the like top tier talent in NXT. Obviously Carmelo was in the main, but like this was like the top tier in ring talent. So this was really good. I like everybody in this match, especially. I'm a big Dragunov fan and a big Axiom fan. So I wasn't super familiar.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure most people know her. That's A-Kid.
Oh God, yeah. It's like a running joke that they make often that it's A-Kid. Even the new video game has a reference in it to it being A-Kid. So it's like, during his entrance, it's funny because they talk about how like Axiom. They say like when Axiom was younger, he was really into comic books and superheroes, and Corey Graves goes, "What do you mean when he was younger?" I'm pretty sure there's a kid underneath that mask, and I'm like, I see.
Okay. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Well, it flew over my head anyway, but I really think that he stood out the most in this one, and they really gave him a spotlight to show up and show off on this one.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially given like with the Hall of Fame. To jump around with the Hall of Fame, we had that like great speech from Rey Mysterio, and they talked about Lucha Libre and like Rey helping kind of bring that to America and like make it like a big deal. And with Axiom and Dragon Lee, we kind of have a nice, and then also Escobar on the main roster. I know he's a little bit older, but still he's got some years left. Right? That's a nice group of like lucha stars right there to like kind of, and even Dominic. We'll get to him too, like Mysterio, like the Lucha.
Oh my God, yeah, he's been doing so much better.
Oh, he's been on fire, but we'll get to that. Yeah. This match was great. I loved it. Everyone was involved is amazing, and hopefully they do more like this.
Right? Yeah, for sure. Some bullet points I have here is when JD got drop kicked by everybody. That was fun.
Oh, that was good.
Shortly thereafter, Dragunov just straight up kills everybody in the ring. And of course, JD, I always note the blood, but JD was bleeding from the forehead.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a cut.
Dragon Lee hit a coup de grace to Wesley on the apron from the top rope.
That was great. Like everything in this match was fantastic. Like,
yeah,
this was really good. I enjoyed it a lot, and yeah, this was definitely the highlight, probably of the show. I would say. I mean, the main event was pretty good too.
Yeah, the next one up was the unsanctioned match between Johnny Gargano, however you want to. I hear it pronounced every different way about every time he's announced. I swear to God.
I think both work. You know, it depends. One is more with a kind of New York accent, and one is just a regular. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, he defeated Grayson Waller. At the end, they just pretty much killed him with chairs.
Yeah.
It's pretty freaking crazy. Yeah,
there were just some crazy spots in this, including the spot with the suplexes from the apron, or the suplex from the apron through the chairs, and
yes,
the kendo stick shots. Those were brutal.
Some call-ups, some callbacks to his previous unsanctioned matches for sure. Yeah,
the finish with the open chair on Waller's head and then smacking it with another chair was just nasty. Like, I'm like, oh God. But overall, I mean, this was a good one. This was, I would guess, Gargano's possibly last match. I don't really know. We'll see. But this might be Waller's last NXT match too. So, you know,
that could be it too. And then you could see William Waller on the main roster.
Yeah, I would honestly expect Waller to pop up relatively soon on the main roster, just because they've kind of been like grooming him for the main roster. He's worked everyone in NXT. He's worked the most main roster talents. He's worked AJ. He's worked R-Truth. He's worked Gargano now. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Ziggler, yeah. Everybody from the main roster that came through NXT and came back ended up wrestling Waller at least once. He worked Apollo Crews. So.
Oh, yeah.
They're definitely getting him ready for a main roster run.
Another return I thought we might have seen this weekend was Tommaso.
Yeah, I think he's still a little hurt. Recovering from the injury. He had surgery. I would guess. You know, and I mean, I know there's a lot of people that were hurt that are making their way back. So I would say like Ciampa, Big E, Orton. We're kind of going to see those over the next few weeks. Because again, like I said, if the rumors about them not signing people turn out to be true, then this is how they're going to have to like get those like that positive buzz with returns and call-ups. NXT Women's Tag Match with Fallon Henley and Kiana James against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. This wasn't a super long match. It wasn't bad. It was quick, and it was, I think, to just kind of get the belts on Dawn and Fire, and then also to continue the story with James and Fallon Henley. There's like a little bit of tension and like
This honestly, this is the one I didn't know much about, having not watched week to week. So this is the one I was really the most unfamiliar with.
Yeah, there's a lot of storyline to this one. So like, it was more so less with the challengers and more with like Henley and Kiana and then Briggs and Jensen. So like,
right.
Was more to move, I guess, probably to get the belts off them and then move the storyline along. You know, and then the main event was after this, which I guess we can get into that now.
Yeah, we can. So it was Carmelo Hayes defeated Braun Strowman. Oh yeah, Braun Strowman. Jesus, yeah, I bet he kicked my ass for that one.
Poor Braun getting confused for Braun. Ouch.
Ouch. Yeah, not a good week for the. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, not a good week for his dad. You know what, though? Like,
not a good week for the Steiners, no.
Well, Steiner, I mean, Scott's fine.
Yeah, Scott's fine, as usual.
And this is now the nephew of Scott Steiner, and that's it. I noticed I did get a kick out of it.
That's it.
They kind of like they mentioned that Braun was like, like basically like Scott's nephew and didn't mention Rick, and I mean rightfully so, but it's just a kick. I kind of got a kick out of that.
Yep.
You know, and I mean it's funny because I did see some people like I know what Rick Steiner did was awful. We're not getting into it, but like I did see a few people kind of take it out on Braun, and like that's not fair. Like you can't hold somebody. I mean, you know, we don't hold Charlotte for like the things Ric Flair does. We don't hold Drew Gulak for the things that Braun did. So like, don't be that person. Don't, you know, everybody's their own person.
Exactly. It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, nothing to do with him. And you know, and it looks like too with Braun, number one, they're probably going to get away from a lot of the Steiner stuff because they've turned him heel, and it looks like they're kind of going back to Braun. I mean, originally in NXT at one point, Braun had started out as a heel, and he kind of became a face because the crowd wouldn't boo him. Basically, like he had a lot of
I do remember that
because like he cut a great heel promo early on, and it always sticks in my head because it had that great line where he's like, "If you want a friend, get a dog," and I thought that was just a funny line, like
right.
And that was he used to also drop the word shit a lot in his promos too, which made me laugh because it's like that's the Scott Steiner.
I have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, if you go back and watch like his early stuff, he was basically like meant to be a heel, including like the fact that he was like the captain of 2.0 War Games, and not booing him basically made them transition him into a face. And I think he'll be better as a heel because it will allow him to kind of be more like as a face. He leaned a lot on the Steiner stuff because he needed to get like those pops. But I think as a heel, it'll allow him to be Braun Breaker and develop himself, similar to Charlotte, where Charlotte was able to develop more of her own persona as a heel and less of like leaning on, you know, Ric Flair mannerisms and tribute. You know, but overall, this was good.
Yeah. We had, you know, the story of usually the Carmelo's holding the NXT, the North American title, and
I mean, he was ready for this.
A step up, yeah.
Carmelo's probably one of the better and more underappreciated like talents overall. Like I'd say,
I think so, yeah.
And not even WWE, like North America. I don't think Carmelo Hayes gets the flowers that he deserves because a lot of people sleep on NXT. But like his stuff is so good all the time. Like he's great, and he has a huge future ahead of him.
I mean, I know you had said on Facebook the other, or a social media somewhere, that you had wondered who would be the one to, you know, and you said wouldn't it be cool if it was somebody from NXT?
Oh yeah,
they think
with
at least, I don't know, maybe a year or so. Could be a good chance.
I think, you know, given proper build and time, that either Carmelo or Braun would be a good candidate to beat Roman. I think Braun would probably be the more likely just based off like WWE like preference, and I think I love Braun. Braun's probably one of my favorite wrestlers on TV just because like he's such a throwback, but I do think he needs more big match experience, and I'm hoping that as a heel he gets that. He needs more guys from the main roster to work with and kind of help him get like he needs that. Like he's just, you know, he's been working a lot of guys in NXT who are great, but Braun hasn't had to like really like big matches with big stars, and I think that's what he needs to like hit that next level. So hopefully with the heel turn now it happened on NXT with him attacking Carmelo, we'll start to get like, more main roster faces coming down to kind of work Braun, and like Gargano would be actually perfect for that role to like get Braun ready for that next step. Like, but I mean, this was great overall. This was a pretty good stand and deliver. I think last year's was a stronger show, but this year's was still enjoyable. It's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, I think so. All in all, I did give it a 9. I thought it was a strong. I thought it was a strong show.
I would give it the same. My only like I think my only knock on it would be, I feel like that the women's tag match, and I hate to say this because like I don't want to seem like I'm sexist. Like I think all the women involved in it were great, but I think that, and then there was a pre-show match that was Chase U versus Schism, should have been reversed. So,
and the Schism is falling apart, right?
I mean, I had heard that, but then I saw that gosh, I don't remember the new names. I know it's like one is Jagger and the other, but the Grizzled Young Vets, they were with Gacy when they taped Level Up. So either they didn't get their releases, or
there's a time frame. They're still
like they have to finish out maybe there's not much left on their deals and they want them to finish it out, or they want to like do an angle on TV to like wrap this up proper. I mean, but as of now, they haven't been released. They're still with Gacy, but their match with Schism versus Chase U and Tyler Bate was a lot of fun, and honestly should have been on the main card instead of the women's tag. That's not to say that I'm saying the women's tag was bad. It's just the Chase U
timing frame
match,
of it.
Yeah, and I think the Chase U Schism match had more energy to it. It was a fun match. It's definitely worth watching the pre-show for.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's free, so there's that. I think they add that, if I'm not mistaken, to like Stand and Deliver. I'm pretty sure if you just go and watch, it's already there.
Yeah, I think it's like Peacock just has it like attached to the actual show. Right. I could be wrong. When I watched it, I mean, granted, I ended up having to watch a replay of the show Saturday afternoon, but like, it was on there, but I don't know. Either way, Peacock's a mess. But that's besides the point.
It is, and especially on mobile.
Oh, I hate Peacock. It's. I mean, I love the variety of content on it, but like as far as like user friendly, it's the worst of all the apps.
It is.
I guess we'll get right into WrestleMania. Let's just keep the ball rolling.
Let's do this. So we'll talk about WrestleMania Night 1.
Yep.
First match was Austin Theory defeating John Cena.
Yeah. Oh, not really shocking. I kind of assumed Theory was going to win, but,
Right. There's always that chance that John would have been the champ.
This to me was fine. It's a solid. I would give this, if I had to give it out of 5, this would be like a solid 3 for me. It did what it needed to do. Cena.
Yeah, I also have a 3.
Yeah, that's perfect. Cena wrestled a very safe match, which I understand because he's in the middle of filming a lot of projects, and I'm sure like insurance in Hollywood, that's got to be a nightmare.
But also, in my opinion, a little bit better. Well, I mean, anything was better than the last one, only just because I think he only tagged in literally one time.
Yeah.
Going off of that match in 2022. But a little bit more of a redemption, because people were dogging on him for that. And,
I know, but at the same time, too, like, at this point, he's a bigger star outside of wrestling than he is in wrestling, and
right.
He's not going to ever come back and wrestle the kind of matches he used to because there's too much money from like these studios wrapped up in John Cena to let him do like crazy shit that he could get hurt doing.
For real, yeah.
The fact that he was able to do as much as he did was, and I mean, I think this was what Theory needed because he's right. Theory is like on the cusp, and everybody always says Theory is going to be the next John Cena. I don't think so. I think Theory is going to be the next Randy Orton. And
yeah, I can see that.
He needs that, like, great heel moment, and this kind of added to it. Like, it's very similar to Orton taking out legends back in the day. This kind of, with Theory beating Cena, Theory beating Ray, this kind of puts Theory on a path to start to kind of build up that, base to be a strong heel. Because honestly, to me, Theory being Cena doesn't work because, like, you just look at Austin Theory and you want to punch the guy in the face. Like, he's got a he's very much like Randy Orton. He looks like an asshole. Like, you just want to hit him. Like,
yeah, he's got that asshole look. He does that.
Yeah. But I mean, he's great. This was this was a 3 for me.
Yeah. So my thing is, if you look at all the other belts, pretty much everybody, I'm gonna say aside from Charlotte because she had just got it, has a lineage with that belt. You know what I mean? That they've held that belt for at least a extended amount of time. So this match did more to elevate Theory than it did the belt. Theory, the reign, and now I think that they put Theory on this. He was elevated by taking out John Cena. Now we can work on the longevity of his reign and cementing his reign with that belt. They're like we have with Gunther and we have with Roman and stuff like that. So now we can work on getting him a super long reign with that. I could see it happen.
They need to find Theory's his great rivalry, like his great rival, like that one person that will bring out the most in him. And it'll be interesting to see because it looked like they were going to go that route with Gargano, but I don't know right now. Like with Gargano, it looks like Gargano and Dexter are kind of possibly going to do some tag stuff. So I don't quite know
for that too.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
If he's coming up.
I'm curious to see who's going to be that person that gets that series of great matches with Theory. But yeah, this was good. And it kind of it did a good job of setting the tone and kind of being okay, we had John Cena, we had that big moment. Let's get going on WrestleMania.
Who the next big person is going to be?
Yeah.
But so the second match of the evening had the Street Profits defeating Braun and Ricochet, the Alpha Academy, and Viking Raiders.
Oh man, excuse me. This was good. I give this I would give this I enjoyed this match a lot, so I would probably give it 4 out of 5. This was a lot of fun. It was a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of high spots, big Mania things. Braun coming off the top rope, Angelo Dawkins.
I really like the way that Braun and Ricochet play off each other.
Yeah, I think Braun has finally found something that's working for him, because since he came back, his return hasn't been the strongest, and he kind of came back with some baggage, and I think pairing him with Ricochet has kind of allowed Braun to figure out what works for Braun, and kind of I think honestly has helped rehab his image a lot, because he as we know, he came back and he said some dumb things
on the internet.
Yep, and he kind of hurt himself for a bit, and I think him and Ricochet was a good idea, and I would
be that cool guy, him and Ricochet. Yep.
I think it's going to keep going, and but I enjoyed this. This was fun. This was a good tag match. It was nice to see tag teams featured at WrestleMania. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, we had Seth Rollins defeating Logan Paul in the next one. This one I gave a 4.
Yeah. Oh my god. I would give this a 4 too. I got a kick out of the guy who was the energy drink.
KSI.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with this this guy too much. I know a little bit about him, but it was just funny, this energy drink, and that part cracked me up when he pulled him onto the table and he got Logan Paul jumped on him. I mean, honestly, it makes me mad how good Logan Paul is at wrestling, because
he's shit.
I know, I can't stand him or his brother, and that's probably a product of me being 38 also. I work in a middle school, and children love him. They love him, they love his brother.
I don't know if it's a thing to where the shittier the person, the better the wrestler.
I honestly, like, it's funny because to me, like, I made a joke about, like, why Logan Paul fits in so well in wrestling. I said, like, it's because, like, he's such a shitty person that he already, like...
And he's a carny. At heart, like, with the Bitcoins and, oh my Jesus Christ.
His expensive Gator. He's basically selling, like, marked up Gatorade, like, I don't know.
I've still not been able to find it at all.
You know what? I only see the canned, like, energy drink version. I've never seen the bottles, but I know people again, like, I work in a school, and I must, like, children have these bottles, like, constantly. So I mean, I could say all I want about Logan Paul. He's selling 1 million energy drinks, and I'm selling 0 energy drinks, so it doesn't really matter. Right. But overall, this was pretty good.
Coach Fit Worldwide energy drink going though.
I know. I should. I was gonna do cookies one time for, like, a fun little thing, you know. But like, I think Logan Paul would be a good candidate for, like, they don't have it anymore, but, like, he would have been perfect for, like, the hardcore belt or, like, a 24/7 kind of belt, like something like.
Well, whatever happened to? That kind of Nikki Cross threw that in the trash can or something.
It got thrown in the trash, and that was the end of it, because that was one of the first things Triple H did when he was in charge, was he got rid of that belt.
Yeah. Jeez Louise.
Maybe next week on Raw, it'll get pulled out of the garbage because Vince is back. Who knows? We'll see.
Maybe Logan Paul will bring it out of the trash can.
See, to me, he would be perfect for something like that, because you need an irritating heel character to get that kind of belt over, because you need somebody that's, like, takes this belt, makes a big deal. It's very similar to Enzo Amore with the Cruiserweight belt. Yeah. He elevated that belt just based off the fact that he was just such a dick, and he was such, like, overbearing, and it made you want to watch because you wanted to see somebody, like, knock his head off and take it. So that's, like, to me, it would be a bad idea to put the U.S. or Intercontinental on Logan Paul, but even, like,
right,
you know, one of those belts or even a tag belt, like something, just, I don't know. But yeah, this was a 4 out of 5.
4. Yep. Sorry about that.
It's the second Logan Paul match that I would give a 4 out of 5 to, because him and Roman was fantastic from
him and Roman was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a belt like that, and then like for SummerSlam, it would be him versus a debuting Matt Cardona.
Yeah, like something like an internet championship or something. Yeah, like,
I'm the internet champion, and I got the belt to prove it, you know?
Yeah. Even if Logan Paul made his own, like, belt, like, you know, just something.
That would be great. That would be great. He would the
Influencer Championship.
There you go, right there. Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish defeating Damage Control.
This was fine. I know some people didn't love this match. It was fine. I give it a 3 out of 5. Nothing, like, mind-blowing.
I have a 4 just because I thought it was really fun to see the legends back in there, and you know, ever since the NXT days, you know, these women, you know, especially Becky, Charlotte, you know, Bayley, they always got those comparisons to, you know, the 4 women there before them. So it was really cool to see them in the ring together in this moment.
I enjoyed it. Like I said, it wasn't anything, like, amazingly amazing, but it wasn't anything, like, bad. It was fine. I know, like I said, a few people I talked to really didn't enjoy it, but I mean, I thought it was good. I thought
kind
it was
of like the DX Saudi Arabia match.
Yeah, like, and honestly, it's WrestleMania, and if every match is like a 5-star, like, amazing wrestling match, then, you know, WrestleMania is not doing its job, because the whole point of it is to, like, do this spectacle. But overall, it was fun. I like Lita, Trish. I like everyone involved. All great talents.
For sure. But yeah, the next one up here was one I know that a lot of people didn't have high hopes for, but in I like this one. Was Rey Mysterio defeated Dom.
Oh, yeah. I was excited for this one.
I like the story. You know, the backbeat. He had his dad not retire so they could win the tag team belts, and then Dom fell in with the Judgment Day. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean everything Dom has done since they did the skit with him going to jail, and you know, the whole he was in like basically like a holding cell for a few hours, but he acted like he was in like hard prison, and everything has been gold with him, and like his gimmick works because like in wrestling you've had people like play the like rich guy or the rich kid gimmick, and it's not always believable, but Dominic is actually like, you know, he's a rich kid, he's Rey Mysterio's son, and like so it plays into his gimmick more that like you've got this like spoiled little rich shithead that like went to prison for a few hours, now he thinks he's hard, he's got his like friends that like basically like protect him all the time. Like, it's perfect, and his entrance was the funniest and the greatest thing I've ever seen. I was dying.
He looks good in the mask, though.
Yeah, I liked it. It was kind of an evil version of Ray's mask, and I'm interested to see if we get a mask versus mask match between them.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And that's how we kind of, you know, Ray kind of heads off into the sunset as Dom beats him and Ray unmasks again. And, you know, it's so funny. Like, they talk about Ray and the mask, and they always kind of leave out the part that like Ray didn't have a mask for like 3 years. So
yeah,
you know,
that was when he was with the NWO, right?
No, it was in WCW. It was he lost a match to Kevin Nash, and he got a mask. And then that was the Filthy Animals era with Ray, and he was unmasked all the way up to the end of WCW, and then on the Indies, and then WWE are the ones who put the mask back on him.
Okay, and, back in like early, like what, 2009 era?
2002 was when
early stuff.
And it was basically the same mask, with the only adjustment being he replaced the crown on it with a cross, so that it was a different mask, and that was kind of the workaround to like wearing a mask again. And then other guys like followed suit, like the Psychosis ended up getting remasked and moving to it, and I think now you could just kind of, I think that like rule about luchadors unmasking forever has kind of gotten a little like loose now, because a lot of guys lose them and win them again, and so. But I enjoyed it. This was a 4 out of 5 for me. It was really good. Ray spanked Dominic, which was probably one of the favorite things ever.
And he's, I think for like what, 2K12 or something like that, that he was gonna get the game and beat his kid's ass, and somebody had said,
that was the best.
The dream came true a decade later.
But yeah, this was fun. It was cool seeing the LWO back, so that was fun. That's
what I was thinking. That it was interesting to see what they might do with that going forward. The big Puerto Rico pay-per-view. I don't know if Bad Bunny is he really injured, or?
I'll tell you this much: he is 1,000% going to be in the LWO, and here's why. If you go on WWE Shop right now, they just put it on sale. They have an LWO shirt, and instead of the Mexican flag, it's the Puerto Rican flag. So there you go. So I guarantee you that's for Bad Bunny.
That is going to be awesome. But I was thinking that, you know, it would kind of like end with Chavo, or Chavo getting involved, or maybe in that situation.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know. Like, again, I don't know if WWE, what they're going to do. They might be on a... I don't know if we're going to see too many people, like, coming in now. Like, I'd say it's going to be interesting to see, because they might be on a hold until the sale goes through.
You're right. I think the last time Chavo was on TV was with AEW, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe now he does...
Like, that matters, because it's also the same thing with Snoop Dogg, so...
Yeah. Well, Chavo's also the stunt coordinator for Young Rock, so that may be taking up a lot of his time, too. So, and I believe he's got renewed. So I know he's busy with that. Yeah, what was the next match?
The next match is Rhea Ripley defeats Charlotte Flair.
Okay, so I got a hot take on this. It's going to piss people off. I really enjoyed this match a lot.
Yeah.
But if they would have shaved 10 minutes off of it, I would have loved it. To me, it went on a little too long.
It was long.
And I kind of lost interest, and then they brought me back in, and then they lost me, and they brought me back in, and like, I thought it was a bit too long. I thought it was hard hitting. I thought they did great stuff, very athletic. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. I would have given it a 5 out of 5, but I got to knock a 0.5 off because this match was very long.
I literally have the same rating, but yeah, that's my thing too. Was if they're gonna do not to take the flowers away from Rhea, but we know this was stat pattern for Charlotte.
Yeah.
This is one of their things that they can take and rub in the face of people that say WWE doesn't do long-term storytelling. In my opinion, they got Charlotte. They got the flair of Ric Flair. The flair of Ric Flair. The title reign of Ric Flair, which I thought Randy was gonna beat, but I really do think that Charlotte is going to be the one to, if anybody now, to take that. And the whole Roman situation, the whole almost 3 years of being a champion.
Yeah, I think I do think Charlotte. I mean, I saw, and I don't know how true it is, that she's taking time off, so she might be gone for a bit and then probably come back and get in one of the title pictures. She might not come back and take the belt off Rhea. They might move her to Raw, and she might be the one who takes it off Bianca.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
We'll have to see, but like I said, this was good, even great. It just needed to be a little. Hold on.
Yeah,
this was good. It wasn't great. It just needed to be a little shorter. So. Yeah.
But then we had Pat McAfee returning and defeating The Miz in a very short.
Yeah.
There you go.
I can't give this it's no point in giving this a score because it was more of a prolonged segment,
It was just cool to see Pat back.
Yeah, I like Pat. And it was fun. Pat's super talented. Probably one of the better, until Logan Paul came around, probably one of the best outside wrestling people coming into wrestling.
It's always fun to see Michael Cole mark out for him. So
yeah, this was fun, and it was a lot better than what happened on night 2.
Yeah, sure
we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. But to wrap things up for WrestleMania Night 1, we had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. They finished their story. They defeated the Usos.
This was great. This was amazing. You know what? 6 out of 5 for me. I give this an extra point. This was so good.
Yeah, this is a 5. This is a 5 out of 5. This is a lot of people were saying that they think that maybe if you go off the story, they would think that the glue holding the bloodline together was the Usos being the tag team champions, and I kind of thought it was too at first, but I honestly think that the glue that holds the bloodline together is that title Roman has, the Universal title.
Until Roman loses that title, the bloodline isn't really going to go anywhere because Roman, I mean, he's the top star in, all of pretty much North America. He's the biggest draw. He basically, as long as he has those belts and everything he's involved with is, the top story and is really good. He's pretty much he's the glue that holds WWE together. Without Roman, until they get somebody else up there,
like it was when it was The Rock's time, when it was Cena's time.
And this match was great. It was a great cap to the Sami Kevin Owens storyline.
Absolutely. Great shout out to PWG and their Chikara. It was kind of cool to hear him say Chikara in the press conference and stuff like that, just to talk about everything that has brought them guys to where they are now.
Yeah, I was surprised with how much they, along with commentary, had mentioned independent wrestling, and I would guess that that's probably a byproduct of Triple H kind of sharing that guerrilla position now with Vince. That's what I mean. Even with Vince back in charge, it's like you've got Vince, but you've also got Triple H, which previously it was Vince, and you had Bruce Pritchard, and Bruce Pritchard is basically like, he's Vince's like mini-me, so like it's a little different now. But yeah, I mean, I love this match. It definitely was amazing, and it told a great story. The ending was great, and Sammy got the moment he deserved that everybody wanted Sammy to get. And honestly, I think this was a better moment for Sammy than if they would have stuck him in the match with Cody and Roman, because that would have just been Sammy losing versus this was Sammy winning. So, and overcoming the bloodline.
Yeah, he would have eaten the pin on that one, because
oh gosh,
not to either too much, because there's already, you know what I mean. Somebody you knew it was gonna happen, but you didn't know it. But anyways, yes, let's jump into that WrestleMania Night 2. Yes. So we started it off with a very short, quick one. Brock Lesnar defeated Omos.
You know what? 3.5 out of 5 for me. I'm gonna be a little.
There you go. That's exactly what I gave it. It did what it needed to do. It short, quick, made Omos look like a giant, and Brock still got the W.
Yep. That's exactly what I was about to say. This match did exactly what it needed to do. It was everybody had everybody had the worst expectations for this. So the fact that it turned out to be like pretty decent. Yeah. And it's funny, this is actually 2 now for Omos that should have been a train wreck, that turned out decent, because he had that match with Braun in Saudi Arabia that actually was pretty decent too. And I mean, all right, I don't think Omos will ever be like the top guy, but I don't think he's as bad as people like make him out to be. I think there's something. He's not the Great Khali. Like he's not like Kane, but he's not the Great Khali. Like
I think his story has gone smoother than Braun Strowman's himself did, because in the beginning of Braun's, obviously these big, huge men, you're going to make a spectacle of them and give them these stories to make them these bigger than life giants. You know what I mean? Yeah. You have Andre the Giant, you have the Big Show, and you have all these huge, larger than life characters like that. But you're building this story of Omos, and he didn't need to flip any 18-wheelers or throw any ambulances into outer space or anything like this. He had a pretty straightforward story. I really liked I forget what they call that, man. The little fight club they had on Raw with Shane.
Oh, Raw Underground.
Raw Underground, yeah. I thought that was. I mean, it's a little bit more relatable than him going out and doing all these crazy theatrical CGI related almost things.
Yeah, and I thought him and AJ were a good team together, and I think like they complemented each other. And I mean, to me,
and that's another guy who I thought would be back too.
It's Omos. I think the one advantage he's got over Braun. I'm doing it over Braun Strowman too. Is that like in interviews and things, Omos also comes off a lot more humble and likable. So I think that's why people tend to like go easier on him than they do on Braun, because Braun's his own like worst enemy when it comes to like making comments and getting people to like be like, yo, this guy sucks. Versus Omos kind of like doesn't really run his mouth. He comes off like a very humble, happy to be there guy. Right. And he's got MVP who can kind of help carry the load in terms of promo work. So I don't like I said, he's never going to be like, he's not going to be Kane, he's not going to be the Undertaker, he's not going to be like this big man with like this great like lineup of classics, but I don't think he's going to be Khali. I don't think he's going to be like a lot of those big men in the past that were duds, like gosh, there's so many I can't even think of any right now. Like Nathan Jones, Heidenreich, Lars Sullivan. I can go down a list of like duds, but I think he'll be fine. But overall, this was good for what it was. It did its part. It did its job.
For sure. And then the next match we had Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler winning the tag. What do they call that? The tag team open or something? Yeah,
I forget. It had some stupid name. Like WrestleMania tag. I don't know. This was, you know what?
Basically the number one contender.
Yeah.
Well, they beat. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Oh, it was what, Raquel and Liv?
Natalia and Shotzi, Raquel and Liv. Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, and Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. Which that was my favorite team of them.
Oh yeah, they were good.
I was waiting for them to put Chelsea with Sonya.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I like Chelsea Green's Karen gimmick that she's doing since she came back. It's funny. This wasn't
3.5.
Yeah. 3, I'd give it 3. I wasn't thrilled with, I like Shayna Baszler. I feel like Ronda Rousey has kind of run her course at this point, and I think Ronda needs to like maybe go away for a bit and make us miss her.
Yeah, kind of. I think that she's had a little bit better of an image since being paired again with Baszler.
Yeah, I think it's helping.
Again with the acquisition, I think that's more geared towards that fan base, bringing in more of the. Now we're under the same umbrella. Why don't you watch us? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think she'll obviously. I think like her, Brock, Lashley, Shayna, they're all going to be probably like featured a lot more going forward, given the now crossover with now with UFC and WWE basically being like under one corporation kind of thing. I kind of wish Ronda did more. I had found out that she was hurt, which made more sense as to why basically. Yeah, apparently she's still like recovering from an injury. So, at least that's what I believe one of the wrestling journalists said. But I mean, 3 out of 5. Like, it was good. It did, again, another match that served. It did what it needed to do.
Set up well for the next one, which was Gunther defeating Drew McIntyre and Sheamus.
Oh, man.
I can tell you right now, this was a 5 for me. This was a really good one.
Every match that Gunther has had since being in WWE, going back to NXT UK, NXT 2.0, all the way onto the main roster, has been a 5 out of 5. I don't think he's had a bad match yet. He might have the most consistent track record of anybody in wrestling. Like,
every match, like there's no.
And I know people.
This was a television match, so he didn't go as hard as he did last week because it was WrestleMania or whatever. Yeah.
I know people. Go ahead. People, they kind of sleep on Gunther. I think, especially like, I know like after the name change, which like again people made a big deal out of when they didn't need to, and
I've grown used to Gunther now, and I completely forgot now until you said, he was Walter before.
He was, and to this day, it'll always make me laugh that, like I'm sure, like, I'll probably, you can send your hate tweets to, like, @BSeanCalvin, but, like, here's the thing. Like, Walter isn't that much worse of a name than Gunther. Like, the dude's name was Walter, like, it's not like he had some like
Willy Wonka name to it, you know what I mean? Like,
he wasn't all that. He wasn't the American Dragon becoming Daniel Bryan. He was Walter becoming Gunther. Like, people needed to like calm the fuck down. And I know like everybody wanted to yell like Nazi this, Nazi that. The whole thing was stupid. But like the name change, it's been a while now. Gunther.
the German sounding dialect, so they jumped to the worst conclusion known to man.
The whole thing was silly, and it's been over a year now, and it's so funny. You look back at like when it happened a year ago, and people like, including like Cody Rhodes on AEW and Chris Jericho on Twitter, taking jabs at it. And like fast forward, Gunther's had the Intercontinental belt for like longest time and forever. He's had great matches, and he was just on WrestleMania. So like, does the name change matter when this guy's had like an incredibly fantastic run? Absolutely not.
He single-handedly put for the past several years, they finally have been given the undercard the credit it deserves. But I felt like for more of that was geared towards the United States title, because they always had the U.S. title open and stuff like that. And I really thought like, the direction was more focused on the United States belt. But with this reign, I mean, he's single-handedly put that right up there with that. There's not a belt now, going back to the 24/7 in the trash can. There's not a belt out there now that doesn't feel like, oh, it doesn't matter if that person wins or loses it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all the titles feel important again, and they've done a great job over the last year making every belt feel special again. And also, like, again, paring down the belts, making like the tag belts unified, the main belts unified, getting rid of the 24/7 belt, like getting rid of the cruiserweight belt in NXT, getting rid of a lot of these like extra championships, all the NXT UK belts. Like WWE went from having too many championships to having like the right amount at the current moment. Like, but yeah, 5 out of 5. Probably the match of possibly night 2. It was fantastic. So
for sure. So the next up was Bianca Belair defeating Asuka. This one's hard for me.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good. I'm not sure. I'm curious.
It was pretty decent.
Yeah, I kind of want to see where it goes next. I think it's like the match happened, and now I want to see like what's next for Bianca and what's next for Asuka more than like I don't know. It's just overall I liked it though. Like 3.5 out of 5. I would give it 3.5 out of 5.
Right. The next up is a little bit of a blip on the radar. Shane McMahon returns, and Snoop Dogg defeated The Miz.
Yeah, I mean, it's like here comes the money, and boy, there went the money.
The money went.
The money went. I'm all right. I'm not laughing that Shane got hurt. It sucks that he got hurt. It's more that like this was just a waste of like time. Like I understand that he's a McMahon.
He got The Miz in the face, though.
Yeah,
like does he not do that like every time?
Oh my god, like Shane with those. It's like funny with like Shane and the punches. Like they're all over the place. But like it sucks he got hurt.
I mean I'm not. Anybody that's gonna get hurt, fucking terrible.
But like at the same time, I kind of had a little bit of a giggle in that like we had found out that day possibly that this was like going to be the last McMahon. And on the very last McMahon-owned WrestleMania, McMahon blew his quad out. It's almost like poetry, like,
oh my god, there you go. Hamlet, man.
McMahon, like last year, Vince took that stunner and fell over Austin and flopped around, and this year Shane, like the men in the McMahon family have a bad habit of just embarrassing themselves at WrestleMania lately. Like, it's good to be Stephanie.
The best part of last year, yeah, exactly. She walked away when she had the chance.
Yep, kept her head held high.
And she has good WrestleMania moments. I remember the 30 was with the big entrance with Triple H and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, and she had that match too that was really good, where it was her and Triple H against Kurt Angle and Ronda.
Oh yeah. I thought that was the Bellas for some goddamn reason.
It was Stephanie. Like the last few years, like she doesn't wrestle very often, but when she does, because like her heel work is always on point. It's generally pretty entertaining to watch. She kind of she went from being the McMahon nobody wanted to see to the McMahon most people generally like and want to see. So good for her, you know?
Right? Yeah, absolutely. But next up we have Edge defeats Finn Balor in Hell in a Cell.
Oh man, this I feel like this could have been 5 stars if it wasn't for the fact that Finn got seriously cut open.
Yeah.
And I think that made a lot of the plans they probably had for this match change because I don't know if you saw the picture that he posted online.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. And did you see the blood on the mat? Oh.
I didn't see the blood on the mat. Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen that but at first I was kind of what the hell happened there? I know there's a little bit of blood, but did they really stop it?
If you yeah.
When I seen the picture, I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, that's more than a couple stitches. That's 20 staples.
If you go back and watch this match, even if you're listening, go back and watch it and look after he gets hit with the ladder and they show the mat again. There's literally a trail of blood. It must have been shooting out of his head like a geyser. It's insane how much blood is on the mat.
It was deathmatch level amount of blood, like a glass tube, glass pane for sure. It's open. I
kind of was a little, peeved at WWE for this because he had gotten cut open. He got hit with a ladder. He probably could have had a concussion. They probably could have came up with a better finish than putting his head on a metal chair and clanging another metal chair off that chair.
Disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, for a guy who may have a concussion, that might not have been the best ending to do. But overall, I would give this a 4 out of 5. I'm not saying it lost a point because Finn got cut. It's just you could tell they had to kind of cut it short and change a lot of things to compensate for that.
About a 4 out of 5 as well. I like the when Edge trapped him in the corner with the kendo sticks, and he would look like the possessed demon that he is.
I definitely had a giggle at I wonder how many people were upset because they believed the internet that Christian was going to come out with Edge.
I had expectations of Gangrel.
I at least thought maybe Gangrel would come out with him and then leave. I know there were people.
He was in the area. He was in Hollywood, and he was teasing on his social media that he was in the area.
I know people had that expectation, and you know what? Honestly, I know they changed some things last minute, and it may have gotten cut too.
Could have.
I mean, even if Gangrel was there, wasn't there, that doesn't change the fact that Kit Raff holds a victory over Gangrel. So there's that.
Absolutely.
And just saying.
And he's coming to Williamsport on June 3rd.
That's pretty cool. Gangrel, he's a nice guy. He was fun to kind of be involved with. He
has a school up in Pennsylvania, right?
Is it in Pennsylvania? I thought it was in Florida. I don't know.
Was that? I thought that I'm sorry. I was under the impression that one of the Camp Leapfrog shows took place at his compound.
I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe I'm sure.
I thought I heard that. Maybe I'm a Dave Meltzer in it and making the shit up right on the spot. Who knows?
I could be possible. I could swear that it was in Florida, but he could have moved. I'm not really sure. I don't know. All I know is
his house, or not his house, but I don't know.
He's a nice guy. He's super easy to work with. He bit me, so he's kind of a piece of shit for that. I'm kidding.
Oh, shit, but he turned into a vampire, though.
You know why?
You did.
I didn't. I've been dead on the inside for years, so you can't kill what's already dead.
You probably just killed his will for living then with it.
Probably. I mean, but I wish he would have been there. It would have been neat to see, but the same time, Edge's entrance was still cool, and it referenced the Brood. Edge had them on his jacket.
It sure did, and I liked his entrance gear. And for Finn Balor's face, the Finn Balor, I liked that the tongue was green, but
Yeah, that was cool.
I liked that it was pretty much his NXT demon colors, except where he normally would have blue, it was purple for the Judgment Day.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
This was good. And I guess what was next? Was the main event next?
Yes, sir, it was.
Nope.
We had Roman Reigns defeating Cody Rhodes. I did have myself convinced it was going to go the other way, but I was wishy-washy about the whole time until the day of, and I'm like, nah, Cody's going to win. He really is. I really feel like, I guess he's going to finish that story out, you know what I mean? People are making their shit, but, oh, he didn't forget about the throne. Like, I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't think that...
The only people pushing towards this one versus the other bullshit is y'all. Like,
I know. I saw somebody had posted on. Oh, come on, phone.
Yeah.
My phone locked for a second. Somebody posted on my Facebook. Even if I knew, I wouldn't say who. I believe it was something along the lines of like, they knew this would happen because it was like a WWE versus outside guy.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna. This drove me nuts, and I'm just gonna rant for a second here. Cody Rhodes is not an outside WWE guy. Cody Rhodes is a product of the WWE system. He was bred by WWE, born into WWE, bred by WWE. He is 100% a product of their system. Like, yes, he left. Yes, he kind of developed further outside of WWE, but like none of that would have happened if he wasn't there from like 2005 to like 2017. So
exactly. So
he's not
those guys then that were the up and comers that are the legends now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Randy Orton, shit like that. But
yeah, he's not like a Sting or a Booker T or a Goldberg or somebody like that like WWE like didn't create and didn't give like much thought to. He was their guy. And
in my opinion, that whole AEW run, I'm like, he was having fantastic matches. His microphone work was top notch, but the whole time I'm thinking, this would be better off on WWE. He would be better off doing this there.
He's a WWE like guy basically. If you notice towards the end of his AEW run, he was getting mixed reactions, leaning towards booing. He comes back to WWE, he's cheered, he's a top face, so clearly, he's where he belongs. And then I know Roman winning. I had a hunch going into this that Roman was going to win, and that was based off the fact that it seemed too obvious that Cody was going to win. Right. But also, Roman is so close to that 1,000-day mark that to take the belts off him before hitting it would be almost criminal. He's so close, you might as well get him to that.
I crunched some numbers. My whole thing, I crunched some numbers and I thought, okay, 1,000 days is around May, okay?
Yeah.
3 years for Roman will be at June.
So,
I believe. So, June not June, August. So, it would be right around the middle or the end of August. So, if they do the whole, rematch, comeback, Cody does beat him, I think it'd be cool to do that at that would be right around SummerSlam, and then he could cut him off from getting a 3-year reign.
Right. And the other thing too, I know Cody lost and people were like, WWE dropped the ball, but if you say that, you're basically saying that okay, so when all the Avengers got dusted and there wasn't a ton of them left, well then that was it for the Avengers because they never
that.
Yeah. Or when Rocky lost and had to kind of build himself back up for the like big fight against like Mr. T. Obviously, that never happened. Rocky just gave him. Batman got his back broke. He just gave up, I guess.
He's on the Duke's dive.
Like Cody has to. This isn't the end. It's like a build, and right now he's going to face Brock, and then maybe after Brock, Cody takes on, maybe Orton's back, and Cody beats Orton. Maybe he takes on Bray Wyatt. Cody like works his way through like some of these like tough challenges, and then gets to Roman. Or alternatively, is like I threw out on social media. Maybe Cody isn't the guy. Maybe it is an NXT person that's going to beat Roman. Maybe it's somebody that we haven't thought of yet from the main roster. Like, it's not the end right now. This isn't the time for Roman's story to end, especially the other thing that people aren't taking into account, and I feel like nobody like has really discussed this, is that the bloodline is still like it's a hot angle. Like, we're not talking like the NWO and its dying days here. This is an angle that's still going, and it still has. For sure. There's still like some gas in the tank. So like,
Solo within the bloodline is just being told, and you can see. I don't know if you've noticed, but some very subtle hints of jealousy there.
Right.
Or those subtle hints where it's like, I think Solo was just about ready to rock Roman there.
And that's another one. What if, let's say all of a sudden Solo, like, what if we get a double turn? What if Solo joins up with Heyman, turns on Roman, and now Roman's the face and Solo's the heel? Like,
There you go.
Roman, here's the thing.
And that would really work off the Umaga angle, like the super heel. Yeah. And
this isn't the same, like, this isn't 2000 and, I'm sorry, man, I went way back in time. This isn't like 2019, like, or 2016 to 2019 Roman Reigns. This isn't like Shield armor cutting bad babyface promos like Roman Reigns. This is like a Roman that if he was to turn face now would probably be like the most over face in wrestling, because like Roman is proven he has like he's the guy. Like,
sure.
There's a lot here, but overall 4 out of 5 for me for this match, by the way. It was good.
Yeah, I agree with that. And all in all, I would give WrestleMania Night 2 a 7.
Same. I would give it a 7. I would give Night 1 a 8.5 out of 10, and Night 2 a 7. Night 1 was a lot stronger, but I enjoyed both overall, so it was a really good show.
And I know we did talk about doing the Raw after Mania, but I really don't have anything, and we've already pretty much covered everything that I had to cover on, which was Matt Riddle returning. So, did that?
Yeah, I mean, Brock turned on Cody, Matt Riddle returned, Elias got beat up by Omos, Dakota and Io lost to, I don't know, it was, the Raw after Mania was fine, it was what it was, but, no point in getting into it.
Right.
Watch it if you want to watch it, don't watch it if you don't want to watch it would be my advice. Like,
it's on Hulu, I'm sure you can wrap it up in about 90 minutes, if not, just a little bit over. So, or it's probably on YouTube, or watch What Culture's Up and Down. So, easy enough. But usually I do give a 5 here. Man, woman, team, and still wouldn't work. Yeah, well, I guess it would. You would WrestleMania Night 1, 2, or Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if, like, looking at all of them, my top 5 people from, if I'm looking at the entire show, oh man, that's tough because there were so many good people.
It was, yeah.
I would probably say Rhea Ripley would be number 5.
Okay.
I got to give Rhea her props. I'm a big fan of Rhea. Her match was great. I'm happy she's champion. Let's see. This is tough, man. So much good. talent. Number 4, I would have to give to Axiom. I think he had he had a breakout moment. And I think the world really got to see how I was a big fan of his when he was a kid, and I love the Axiom gimmick because I love superheroes, and it got off to a bit of a rough start, and now I think he's kind of settled into it, and it's getting over, and I think he had his moment. So definitely props to him. Number 3, I would have to give to Gunther. Again, as I just mentioned, incredible run. Probably one of the best in years.
Yeah.
And then number 2 would be Carmelo Hayes, the NXT champion. Again, like I said, I've said a lot of great things about Carmelo, and I think he has a great future. And number 1 would be Roman Reigns because
he's the guy.
He's the guy. He's the man.
Absolutely. I think my 5 is going to go Wesley. Number 5.
That's a good one.
Number 4, I'm going to have to give to Axiom for the same reason, because he really was on my radar big after that match. That match gave me X Division Impact vibes. That kind of meshing of everybody together is why I like the X Division as well as I do. So, number 3, I'm going to have to give to Rhea Ripley. Number 2, yeah. Number 2, Carmelo Hayes. And number 1 is Roman. He is that guy.
I mean, it's at this point, you can... I know people I see people that want to be contrary and hate Roman Reigns because, and I've seen people be like, oh, he's boring, it's the same match all the time. And it's you got, I get it. I get people, we gotta hate everything WWE does, blah, blah, blah. Right. But to me...
and Vince is in charge now, so, hey, I get it. It gives a reason to hate it, I
mean, you have to... Alright, first off, I'll say this. With Vince being back in charge, you really have to, possibly have been living under a rock to think that Vince wasn't at least, a little bit in charge. Because you would always see, Vince-isms in everything. Ever since he left, he was, texting Triple H or emailing him or blowing up his phone and being like, hey, pal, this and that. And ultimately, too, we don't know what's going to happen with WWE until it happens. So, there's no point in doom gloom. And even if it does kind of go back to how it was pre-August with Triple H kind of taking a bigger role, there's still a lot of good that came. The stuff with Roman Reigns, the stuff with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the stuff with, the Judgment Day. A lot of these things were things happening under Vince McMahon's watch. So, I'm not defending Vince. Obviously, the things Vince did were gross and awful, but I'm just saying, it's not all doom and gloom. And sometimes, if you go into watching a product or a movie or a TV show with a negative mindset, you're always going to have that negative 100%. Mindset.
100%.
And I mean, I guess on that note, I'll just wrap it up because I have to get going. So.
Absolutely. We are done with that note being said. So, Coach, I appreciated having you on. I've appreciated talking with you. I enjoyed our time together. Hope to get you back on for, what's the next one? Is in May?
May would be Backlash, yes. I believe it is, don't quote me on this, possibly May 7th? May 14th? I don't know.
It was around there. I looked it up, but I couldn't remember that it was Backlash. But yeah, if you want to hop back on at that point in time, or if you want to hop on with the next premium line of event pay-per-view of NXT, you're always welcome to.
Yes, and you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at the Sean Calvin. I kind of taken a little bit of a break from Twitter, but occasionally I will hop on there. Right. And if you are in the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area, you can come out and see me live on May 6th and May 20th for Smashmaster Wrestling. May 6th will be in Troop Community Center. And May 20th will be at Classics Bar and Grill in Scranton.
Okay.
You can head to the Smashmaster Wrestling Facebook for more information. And if you buy tickets for either of those for the event in May 6th at the Troop Civic Center, use the promo code Coach, save 10%. Get me paid.
There you go.
I gotta buy diapers, so
There you go, brother.
But
And then the food at the Classics looks really good too, so get something there to eat.
yes, it's great. I'm very excited for both shows. I probably have more stuff coming up possibly before then. I'm not really sure yet. I'm I kind of take it as it comes at this point. But yeah,
Absolutely.
give me a call. Hit me up with a message if you want to have any questions or insult me or whatever. Whatever.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Duke.
Yep, and thank you.
All right, have a good one, man, and thank you all for listening. I love you all.
All right,
Even
thank
though
you.
hate me.
Thanks, guys.